Hi, I'm Karen Dietz, and this video is all about breathing. I'm going to make a claim that's maybe a little bit bold, but I think that most people, most of the time, probably aren't breathing right. This really was kind of pointed out to me recently when I had a client come in who had a breathing machine, and the breathing machine is designed to beep at her whenever she's not breathing properly. So the client was sitting there while I was talking, and perfectly calm, and the machine beeped at her to say, "You're not breathing right." And it really pointed out to me how even when we're relaxed and thinking that we're doing fine, we might not actually be breathing right. And it has a pretty intense response on our body to be breathing the correct way. And it's a real disservice to not be breathing correctly. So there's kind of two sides to really breathing poorly, which is breathing too fast or breathing too slow. When we're depressed, we are very likely to be breathing too slow. We often take these really shallow breaths that aren't doing us much good. They're not really giving us much fuel and energy to work off of, and it kind of keeps the depressive cycle going. When we're anxious, most people know that we start to breathe really fast. That whole fight or flight thing comes into play, and we start hyperventilating, we start breathing really fast, we sweat, we get warm, and that's not so good either, and it's definitely not really helping us to calm down. So, first of all, what does a really good breath look like? It is not just literally breathing in and out really big and deep and fast. So, that's not a good breath. So we like to encourage people to take a full belly breath, which starts by breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. When you do breathe in through your nose, go nice and slow, whatever pace your body and lungs like. And imagine breathing in and filling your whole chest, but also filling all the way down to your belly. Pause there for a couple seconds, 3 or 4 seconds, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. Generally, the breathing out takes longer than the breathing in, and that's perfectly fine. They do not have to be 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out. Go with what feels right with your body. I also like to pause with no breath. And this is a very short pause. By no means do I want to make you feel like you are suffocating, but I find that it is more relaxing to me when I pause without breath, and I have to have that period of kind of forcing my body to relax so I don't use up all my remaining energy, and then I start my nice slow breath back in. And so that's maybe probably 2 to 3 seconds that I would hold with no breath. So I also like to add, when I'm feeling especially anxious, but also if I'm feeling any kind of negative emotion, sad, angry, whatever it is, you can also do kind of a visualization when you're breathing out. If you can imagine either physically what part of your body is being affected, or if you are the kind of person who can imagine like a color or a shape or something of that sort. For me, sometimes it's a dark, cloudy gray that I imagine kind of being in my stomach, and I will imagine breathing that out of me while I take my long, slow exhale. And I can find that really, really rewarding. So if you're kind of a visual person, I would really encourage trying that out. So to kind of explain why we want to be breathing nice, long, slow breaths, for these real deep breaths when we're distressed, but also making sure that we're breathing, kind of big and full normally too. I want you to kind of think about like a gas stove. You need the right amount of fuel to keep your fire at the amount that you want it to be. So when we're depressed, it's like having this really tiny trickle of gas. You're putting it on like level 1. And if you want like a medium-sized flame, you're never going to get it with that amount of fuel. It's just impossible. So when we're feeling depressed and we're barely breathing, we're not going to be very motivated to go do anything because we're not giving ourselves the energy that we need. So to literally increase the amount of fuel in your body, if we take bigger, deeper, fuller breaths, we're going to have more energy to do things like get up and go do that chore, convince ourselves to go exercise, all of the stuff that we don't want to do when we're really just not breathing right. So it doesn't mean it's going to fix everything, but it certainly can be a little nudge in the right direction. And then on the opposite side of things, When we're feeling anxious, it's like we've cranked up the gas on our stove and we have this huge burning fire that we do not want. So in order to take care of that, we need to decrease the amount of energy. So by breathing more slowly and deeply when we're anxious, we're actually more limiting the amount of energy that we need or that we have available, so that we can't go too far into the fight or flight idea, because that's what anxiety likes to do, is send us into kind of fight or flight mode when we don't need to be there. So if I'm waiting in line at the store and it makes me really anxious, I don't need all the energy to run away, and I certainly don't need the energy to fight someone. I need to be able to relax myself to be able to tolerate it. So if I decrease my fuel because I'm not breathing in and exchanging as much oxygen in my lungs, my heart cannot beat as fast. It can't make me sweat as much. It can't keep me in that state because I'm not fueling it that much. Just like if I turn down the dial on my stove, I can't have as big of a fire. It's just impossible. So by doing that, by breathing nice and deeply and fully when I'm depressed, I give myself a little bit more energy to work with. And when I'm anxious, to slow down my breathing and decrease my energy, I am letting myself decrease my anxiety and get to a point where I can start really thinking, and then going into that whole process of being able to reassure myself and challenge some of the thoughts that I'm having then. So that's some basics on deep breathing. I definitely encourage you to try it out. A lot of people think that they're trying deep breathing and they are not doing it. If you think that it's not going to work, it probably won't, because you probably won't do it the right way. So find yourself a nice comfortable place. Just whether you're sitting, walking, laying down, and just try to really focus for 1 whole minute. That's all you really need to notice a difference. Even less than that, you'll notice. So for 1 minute, just challenge yourself to breathe in really slowly. And like I said, it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. Imagine filling your whole chest and your whole belly. Pause with a nice full belly and chest of breath. If you are a visual person, imagine as you exhale whatever feeling or color or shape is inside of you that you don't like. Imagine breathing it out, and then play around a little bit with whether or not you like to hold with just 2 to 3 seconds of no breath. The first 2 or 3 might feel a little bit uncomfortable, and then I find it really, really relaxing. So if you try this out, I'm amazed sometimes by the amount of people who don't even think to do deep breathing. So if this has helped remind you, definitely leave a comment or send me an email about how it went. You can check out my website at www.karendietztherapy.com. You can email me at scheduling@karendietztherapy.com. And I have a whole bunch more videos about therapy itself, anxiety, depression, and more. And I will keep adding more and more. Thanks.